Hey, ladies... That was a fail.
Fail. Whoa.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, this is Siage42, here with my great friend...
Island City. Woo.
And Chitose is not here because she hasn't finished the show, and we dare not spoil it for her. We are doing a technically duo review of Baccano, but screw it, we're gonna still label it as Trinity, because why the crap not? We both watched Baccano, and we finished it within the same 2 weeks of one another. And we started watching like the first 2 episodes together, and just it's one of both of our favorites.
It's amazing. Like
literally, it's just outside my top 4 personal favorite. So yeah, that's pretty amazing. I believe this was in your first 4 anime you watched, was it?
Yeah, it was definitely one of my first ones.
Yeah, because, like, you went Death Note, Black Butler, 11 Eyes, this.
Yep.
So you went up the scale of what I consider to be levels of amazingness, except for I haven't finished all of Black Butler yet, so I can't judge that. But, yeah, anyway. Baccano is unique in the fact that it has 3 different storylines going on at the same time. And each one, you would think that would make it automatically bad because it needs to balance out all 3. Well, that's what we're here to tell you. So, without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, you may or may not know what this is because it's technically a foreign concept. But, yeah, let's get this review started.
Woo!
The plots of Baccano are as follows. You have what I like to call the gang war between mafia tribes, or whatever they would call themselves, and technically people who are technically immortals, in a battle for the elixir for eternal life. And while it's technically not a complete and total all-out gang war, it still is incredibly interesting to watch, and is definitely deserving of my war title, if you think about it.
Yeah. The next plot would definitely be, train robbery. The train, get ready. The flying pussyfoot.
The best name for a train ever.
They say it all the time in the anime.
They handle it so nonchalantly. It just makes you laugh every time they say it, I swear.
It's so serious.
It's just like, I really wanted to ride the flying pussyfoot. Just like, what? That's still my favorite line from episode 1.
Oh, it's amazing.
But all joking aside, though, what makes this plot special is that in and of itself, it has different subplots going on, which makes it even more confusing, but honestly, that just makes it even more impressive that they're able to balance out these 3. And the third one was...
It's this girl named,
Eve
Genord, yeah. She's looking for her brother, Dallas Genord, who was kind of...
He went missing.
Yeah, he went missing, but... I mean,
they don't need anything else than that. He just went missing, and now the sister is looking for him.
Yeah.
And well, honestly, that one, while it sounds the least entertaining, and while it is the least entertaining of the 3, it is still definitely, if that was its own show, that would still be just as good as the other 2. But I feel that in comparison, in the same show, it just doesn't have the same force and impact that the other 2 do.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot weaker.
But that doesn't mean it still isn't bad, because it does still have its own really unique set of characters, all of which were memorable, but we can get to that later. Mm-hmm. And yeah. And for our personal 3 favorite plots, my order would have to go Train, War, Genward.
I'd have to agree. The Train, it just has so much, like, with all the subplots, and it's just...
Russo!
He's an amazing character that we'll talk about, but... just with all the subplots, it just seems so much bigger than the other 2. Even though the Mafia one is definitely extremely good, it has a lot of backstory. It's probably the most backstory out of all of the plots.
It even has an entire episode just dedicated to backstory, which takes place in like the 1700s. That's kind of a spoiler, but they're immortals, so half spoiler. But yeah, so all the plots are definitely very good. Just some of them are stronger than others. The characters, I'm going to try and limit this to talking about 2 characters per major plot line. Then we'll talk about the 2 robbers whom we both happen to love to death.
Yeah.
For the Mafia plot line, which a lot of people consider to be the first plot line, quote unquote, The major characters are Firo Procienzo. How do you pronounce that name?
It's Italian. This is an Italian show, I think.
Yes,
Yeah,
yeah, it is. So we have Firo and a girl by the name of Ennis. Do you want to talk about Firo or shall I?
You shall.
Alright. Firo, for the longest of time, was my favorite character in Baccano because he just felt the most like the main character, which I craved. Basically, if you were to ask me, I would say that Firo is definitely one of the more relatable characters. He seems so happy-go-lucky, yet he's still able to become really serious when the time calls for it, i.e. one of the last 2 major episodes of this plotline. He's able to just be so amazing in any fight scene he has, and he's just so fun to root for because you know that when there's a scene that happens to him, you literally feel like someone in your family just had a major event happen to them. I'm not going to say what, but you can probably guess because I didn't exactly play that out all subtly. But yeah, he is definitely a fun character to watch.
Definitely. I'll talk about Ennis, and there is a reason why she doesn't have a last name. Won't get into that because it's kind of a
spoilerish
big deal at the end. But
yeah.
She is a really cool character. I really liked her.
You're female.
Yeah. She kind of just like appears in the first couple episodes.
Yeah, I think it's like episode 3 or 4.
Yeah. But she's just like this mysterious, like, cool woman, and they like don't give like any backstory about her until the very end. But you just like want to know more about her because she's so like kind and mysterious. And it's just like Firo goes on this whole hunt for Ennis because she like lost a button or something.
Yeah, whatever the reason was, it was kind of another subplot in and of itself. And I dare not, you know what, never mind, I'm not going to bring that up because that is extremely spoilerish. But bottom line, these 2 characters are absolutely fantastic in the first plot line, and people apparently like them because they're front and center in this picture.
Yeah.
For the train, there are so many characters in this that it could have been its whole other show and have had one of the best all-time character casts ever, but Baccano still has that regardless. We're going to talk about our 2 favorite characters, which I'm pretty sure that, speaking for myself, is Claire Stanfield and Lad. I don't know who it would be for you, but Claire's right in there. I'm going to talk about Claire Stanfield. Claire Stanfield is kind of a psychopath. I'm going to have to spoil some things in order to talk about this character, but trust me, it is worth it. Claire Stanfield works as a train conductor on the train, which I'm not going to say the name of again because it's kind of yeah. And as a train conductor, he cares about this train as if it is his own, which it technically kind of is. But there are things that he does that are kind of insane, and this character just handles it so nonchalantly and is able to make so many hilarious comments that he just has to be one of my all-time favorite anime characters in general. So I feel I'm incredibly justified by saying Claire Stanfield is one of the best anime characters of all time. And who are you going to talk about? Because I don't know.
I'm going to talk about these 2 right here.
Oh, I thought you were going to go with Lad.
Well, I guess you could. I don't know.
Afterwards.
These 2 kind of had an important. I don't know.
Yeah, okay.
So we have Jacuzzi Slot and Nice Hollystone.
I thought it was pronounced Nice, but whatever.
Oh, it is.
Okay.
Facepalm. Well, Jacuzzi
Splot. Worst name ever.
It is. He's probably the bigger character out of the 2 of these, but he is an extremely big crybaby, and he can't, like, handle himself in any, like, situation.
I'm not gonna lie, I hated this character when he first happened, and just like, oh my god, why?
Yes, he just, like, he was just that annoying character that you wish would go away, but he wouldn't because he was supposed to be a main character.
Like the guy from 11 Eyes, only he wasn't the main character. Thank God.
Oh, that would have been a horrible show.
That would have been.
Oh. But, so yeah, he has this, like, face tattoo weird thing that everybody's all like, get the guy with the sword tattoo.
Everyone thinks it's a sword. That does not look like a sword to me.
I know, it doesn't. It's just, I thought it was a bookmark.
I thought it was
for the longest time.
I thought it was like a dragon claw, and I'm like, that's the coolest thing ever.
But Yeah, so apparently everybody's all like, he's extremely dangerous, like, get him. But it doesn't, like, it's all like, he's a crybaby. But then all the other characters, like, fear him. So
And
it's
it's
just
like,
what?
why?
Yeah.
I mean, his girlfriend is pretty pyrotechnic, but that's... Nah.
So, yeah, niece, she has some moments.
She has a bomb fetish.
She does. She, like, bombs everything. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's hilarious to watch, and she's the strong-willed woman of the show, but she's given enough backstory and development that it's hard to not like the character, especially in comparison to Jacuzzi's plot. And now I guess I'm going to talk about Lad Russo because
he deserves it.
He more than deserves it.
He
Lad Russo is a lot of people's favorite anime character of all time, and it's hard for me to disagree. Lad Russo is just crazy. I would consider him to be the best comedic character in the show because he can bounce out comedy and amazing action scenes better than any other character I've seen.
And a little bit of insanity. Just a little bit.
Yeah, I love the insane characters. You know this.
He is. Yeah.
That's why I like Takahisa so much. But Lad Russo just... he's part of this big family in the Mafia that's called the Russo family. And he loves to kill things. Spoiler alert! But it's literally told to us in the first 2 minutes of the show or something. Like, Lad Russo likes to kill people. Just... Yes. Okay. That's a good way to introduce a character.
All he, like, his main dialogue chunks are him just going, like, I just want to wrap myself in blood, and then, like, he's like a Jack the Ripper.
I swear to God, he's the biggest thing to a serial killer I've ever seen, but if real life serial killers were this awesome, I would want to be one. But just, Lad Russo is just so amazing, and the whole time he's on the train, even when he's boxing people and making blood fly everywhere, he's wearing a white suit. What's his reason? The white will make the blood look so pretty. It's absolutely hilarious. You question why Lad Russo is someone's favorite character from Baccano again. You deserve to get slapped in the face. And we've talked about characters for a long time, but we still have like 4 more to talk about. Actually, 3 because Eve Genoward is the only important one from that plotline.
Yeah, here's Eve.
Oh, there she is. Hi, Eve.
Well, Eve okay, so she lives in this big witch house. She's got a bunch of servants, but she's just, like, extremely lonely because her, like, only friend was her brother, and her brother went missing, so she goes on this whole big search. She's, like, with a bunch of the people from the newspaper, like, helping her.
Yeah, and just, I want to mention one thing about this character. I have a feeling that if it wasn't for Eve Genoward, that plotline would have completely crumbled and have dragged Baccano down with it. Because Eve Genoward is just... She's a character who you just can't help but love, and even though you don't know anything about her brother, you want her to succeed in her mission. And I haven't seen very many characters like that. So it just helps to display how strong this character really is. Yes. And while she often goes under the radar of personal favorite characters, I definitely feel that she deserves a lot more credit than what she gets.
Yes. Yes. These guys are part of the Mafia plot. Just gonna put that there.
They're part of the Mafia plot and the Dallas Genoward plot.
Yeah, there's a lot of, like...
There's a lot of tie-ins.
Yeah.
But the biggest tie-in, interesting segue, Isaac and Maria. Miria, my bad.
These guys, you talk about Isaac.
No, they're your favorite characters, talk about them.
Okay. So, these guys, they aren't married. You
why
totally
not?
Thought they were, like, engaged the entire time.
Like, seriously, why not?
They're so perfect for each other.
They are. They're just, like, comedic bank robbers.
They're, like, you find them, the first time they come, they're in some random mountains digging for gold. And every time Miria's just, like, maybe we aren't gonna find gold. Isaac goes, yes, we will. He goes on this whole big speech that makes no sense. And she's like, okay. And so they just keep doing that. They spend years. And then they just decide,
okay, let's go rob a train.
Yeah, they're like, we need money, let's rob a train. So they do, and they become like these huge bank robbers.
No, wait, the way they rob a train is... Okay, I'm sorry for interrupting, but how they rob a train goes like this. They rob a bank, and they get on a train to escape. That is the perfect bank robbery.
Oh, and they have so many costumes. Like, they're like... Like, you find there's one scene where they're on Eve Genoward's porch,
and they're
dressed as Indians, and they're making smoke signals. And Eve's like, what are you doing? And they're like, shh, we're not here. We're gonna rob this house. And then, like...
And then 2 seconds later, like, wait! You own this house! Frick!
And then they, like, have this whole heart-to-heart with Eve. And then they decide that the only reason why Eve's sad is because she has so much money. So they're like, we'll solve your problem. So they take all of her money and leave. And they just do so many things. They're friends with everybody.
They are. It's impossible to not love these characters. Even if they're not your favorites, you have to love these guys.
Oh, they're just so amazing.
There's a reason why I've been laughing this whole time.
There's just so many, like, good memories involving them.
Yes, just, like, half of my memories for this show are these 2 characters and their wackiness. It's awesome.
It's amazing.
All right.
They're amazing.
So we've talked about characters for, like, 10 solid minutes here. That's kind of scaring, but now we can talk about the animation.
Whoa.
The animation was done by a studio called Brainspace, which before this has done really nothing of mention, and since this has done another show called Durarara, and Spice and Wolf 2. I've not seen either of them, but I have seen the first season of Spice and Wolf, and have heard that Spice and Wolf Season 2 is animated just like that, so they are able to maintain a good standard. But I personally feel that the animation of Baccano could have been a lot stronger than it was.
Yes.
There are several scenes where it either just stops entirely and just has, like, the camera tilting and dialogue and sound effects and music and stuff, which is fine. But it just does that so much. And it just, do something else! And it just irritates me. And no, this is not because I'm used to Fate Zero and Karnokyo Kai. I have seen Cowboy Bebop, and that was made however many years before this, like 8 some odd years before this, and that looks better. Seriously.
Like, they have, like, so many just, like, things packed into one scene that they just couldn't execute the smallest of details. So, it's like, they could have definitely done better from what they showed us with, like, everything else. But I feel like if they just taken a little more time on animation, it could have been so much better, and just the quality, and I think it would have gotten a little more recognition than it has.
Well, it started to become, like, massively known as one of the best anime of all time recently, which it definitely deserves, but I do feel that very little of that comes from the animation. And by the way, in Arcado's review, when he said that the animation was flawless, he lied.
Lies.
Alright. And now, the part you've all been waiting for, if the characters wasn't it. The sound. Oh my god.
Is the greatest thing my ears have ever swallowed up, eaten, and then spit back out.
Ears can eat, apparently.
Oh, ears can do so much when their potential is just opened up with, like, extremely amazing music and dubs. It's... Baccano, thank you so much.
Alright, so the music for Baccano, the opening and the OST, oh my god, the opening is one of my all-time favorites because it's fast jazz and it's just so amazing and high octane and it pumps you up and thrills you for everything that you're about to witness, and it's just amazing to listen to. And the soundtrack, oh my god, Baccano no theme, that is one of the best anime OSTs ever. Thank you so much.
I love the OST because, like, I can just, like, play it on my, like, iPod or something, and, like, you just know exactly what that is. Like, there's one song that plays whenever they go into the newspaper, like, headquarters, and you instantly are flooded with memories, and you can just do that with everything, and you always remember at least one specific memory. Gotta breathe. And it's just so amazing, and I just love this show so much.
And then the dub,
bam, hits you like a flying pussyfoot.
Okay, so the dub, before this, the best anime dub of all time was considered to be Cowboy Bebop. Then Baccano came along, and basically what Baccano's dub does right, in pretty much everyone's opinion, including mine, and I believe Islanzi's as well,
yes,
is that it just capitalizes the Italian accent on all of these characters much better than the Japanese was able to do. And this isn't just because they speak the language of the people in Baccano, which definitely helps, but it's also because of the fact that with Baccano, it's just easier to listen to it in English because they're in America. You don't speak Japanese in America. For the most part, anyways. So the dub, yes, it's deserving of the title of the best dub ever.
Yes. They just fit the characters so well. Like, especially Isaac and Miria.
That's the best dub ever.
Their voices just make you want to laugh. And it's just amazing. And,
it's just... Yeah. That's what we can sum up this whole show with. Just amazing.
Yes.
And for final thoughts... Okay, what this show does do extremely well... It does on a level that is barely surpassed by anything. And it's fantastic to watch. However, it does have major slip-ups that I do need to talk about. The only major one of those was animation.
Yes.
But that's only if you're an elitist like me. I was just looking for reasons why the show would not get a perfect 10 out of 10. And eventually when I looked at it with a critical opinion and wasn't just looking for reasons this show isn't perfect... I did finally concede that the animation, while it could have been handled better, could have been handled worse. And for what it was still a very well-animated show. Mm-hmm. And after regrading it, 3 times now, not just twice, my first grading, it scored 9.92. My second one, it scored a 10 out of 10. Third time, it went back to the 9.92. And now I can finally see that it doesn't deserve all of the praise that I gave it. It's definitely deserving of a large portion of that, just not all of it. I was calling it one of the best anime ever, if not the best. But now, I think it deserves to get knocked down a few spots. And so, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, after I've compiled all the totals for... Actually, no, I have not, because we've changed this. We changed this, didn't we? Oh, that's right. Well, enjoy that picture.
I love it.
We have decided upon a rating for Baccano that is a 9.5 out of 10. The show is absolutely amazing to watch. It does so much right and does so much amazing. It's amazing to sit through. It's an experience that we both recommend so much that with an edited viewing guide of just skip it or watch it, we've given it the viewing guide for watch it because it's worth it.
Just want to say this picture is definitely fan art, so don't judge this. But you can see all the blood on his tuxedo. So that's true.
It did that right.
Yeah.
Good job, fan art. Woo. But one other thing that I want to mention about Baccano real quick right here is that you can watch it legally over on Hulu, which is where I watched it. I don't know where you watched it. I know you watched the first episode on Hulu.
I can't remember where I watched it.
Alright, well, either way, I still recommend that you watch Baccano. It's a good show.
Yes.
For alternate anime recommendations, and since neither of us have seen my recommendation is Full Metal Alchemist, because it is similar enough, because they both have alchemy in them, they both have immortals, and they both have amazing character casts and amazing plot. But I do feel that Baccano does some things better than Full Metal, but Full Metal is just, in my opinion, the better show. And...
I give it Black Butler because I haven't seen many anime, but, for Baccano, I just thought, what is a darker show, but has tons of comical relief, and it just, makes you love it a lot. And so I thought Black Butler because... I love that show a lot. And there was a ton of comical relief characters in that. And I definitely would say Baccano is the better show. But Black Butler is still pretty good. And I think you would enjoy this after watching Baccano. So helps you with some of that withdrawal you're going through.
Yeah. My withdrawal after watching Baccano, I couldn't settle. So I just watched Attack on Titan. Yeah. And that was still a day well spent. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, this has been me, CIAgent42, and...
Me is Lensity.
And we will see you next time, hopefully, with Chitose Mizue.
Yay!
See you guys next time.